at ringside tonight. Mike Tyson, who's in town for after-dinner engagement, getting a big reception from the crowd, weighing considerably more, I have to say, than the 15.5 stone he was in his peak years, but he's a big Ricky Hatton fan. Watching a fellow New Yorker here in Paulie Malignaggi, who is also from Brooklyn. Malignaggi straight away at the start of the round, Endo with a left hook. Of course, the fact that they've met before, for Endo's purposes, Jim, it means forewarned is forearmed in a way, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, he says he studied the tapes, he saw the flaws, he saw what he did wrong himself, didn't blame it all on the referee last time. But I think the fact that Malignaggi is committing himself leading off, but Endo is actually counter-punching, the counter-puncher, if you like, and it's worked a few times, maybe not working, maybe needs a bit more work in it. But not a bad start.
It's quickish hands himself, Endo. He did all right with this kind of fighter when he fought Sharmba Mitchell, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he's been in with all types of opponents, so there's nothing he hasn't confronted before. Good solid jab from Malignaggi there. I get the feeling Malignaggi maybe hasn't hit his stride yet. I wonder if boxing outdoor in the cold is taking him a little bit longer than a different style of fighter would do. He's looking a little bit smoother here in the third round.
It's a chilly and breezy night here. So much so that I've resorted to an overcoat at ringside. Jim's braver.
Yeah, a little bit smoother. And Endo maybe just taking a little bit too long to get the shots off now. There's a good punch from Malignaggi, a low hint that it may have been the inside of the glove there.
Just fast hands, Malignaggi, counting for him, jab and away. Maybe a combination. And at the moment, Endo, just his hand speed and his footwork. He gets in there with a right hand there, and he caught Malignaggi off balance for a moment.
Yeah, Malignaggi looked as though his glove touched the canvas, although he's been warned for punching in the back of the head. But I don't think he was hurt, but when your glove touches the canvas after a punch, you know, a count can be administered. But Malignaggi's boxing well, and it's good to watch. He's not a fancy Dan who wants to run away. He's facing off in front of Endo, and he seems prepared to exchange punches with him.
But he doesn't have a dig, as we keep saying, Malignaggi. Not even his biggest fans would claim that on his behalf. Even Lou DiBella, his promoter, was saying to me this week, if only we had a punch to go with all the speed and the other skills. But they don't have it, and they're going to have to make do without it. Strategy has to be devised accordingly.
Well, you have to give him credit. He's not a puncher, but he is prepared to step in with that right hand. He's not thinking about his getaway while he's throwing the right hand. He steps in with it, trying to get a little bit of snap, and he's shown a fair bit of aggression here. Liked him a lot better in that round.
Dancing to your rhythm now.
There seems to be a problem with Malignaggi's left eye. Just a little nick developing there.
Let's keep doing what we're doing now. Okay? Move different ways, side to side. Keep the upper body.
I mean, that's where his glove touched the canvas. The punch landed high in the head. Mickey Van decided, I think it was in the back of the head, maybe. But he's lucky to get away without a knockdown counted against him there.
Yeah, his gloves touch, it should officially have been counted, but Mickey Van thought otherwise. Malignaggi concentrating now on his boxing skills. I think the adrenaline was flowing in that first round, as well as the hair.
There's a little nick on his eyelid, so there's no reason it should worsen. Wonder maybe if the side of the glove, the cuff of the glove, maybe it's just pulled the skin. But if it was on the eyebrow, obviously you're worried about it worsening, so I don't expect that'll be a factor.
Endo has had a win since their first fight. He stopped Rafael Ortiz in 7 rounds, quite impressively and easily, but this is a different kettle of fish again. On 2 of the cards in the first meeting between these two, Endo didn't win a round. I think he's won one tonight already, the first.
Yeah, but I gave him the first round. I mean, full credit to Malignaggi. I mean, he calls himself the Magic Man, but he's not all that difficult to hit. I mean, his head is fairly stationary. He likes to step right in with his own punches. So he's not as elusive as maybe he thinks he is.
Well, I don't think there's as much movement about him as when he fought Miguel Cotto. I think he might have lost that for the timing. Is he trying too hard here to put on a show and stand with Endo rather than just coming out and doing his thing?
Well, it's possible. I mean, in front of a crowd like this, obviously you don't want a boring night, and it's anything but boring. I mean, this is real good action. They're standing straight in front of each other, letting the punches go. He's just that little bit busier than Endo at the moment, but I don't say that his punching is any better. Endo's still having a little bit of success.
I think there's a macho thing here as with Malignaggi as well. He's almost trying to say to Endo, who he clearly doesn't like, if you want to, I'll beat you at your game as well. That's a dangerous business, that.
Yeah, well, there's a bit of that there. They're exchanging again, both landing punches. I would imagine Endo must be fairly pleased with what's going on, because he is finding the target. Managing to match the jab. There are a couple of good solid jabs from Endo.
You're right about the lack of head movement for Malignaggi. Ricky Hatton will be noticing that. Got him with the right hand again there, Endo, whose own speed of hand is pretty impressive here tonight, if not with his feet. He's a bit plodding around the ring with the footwork, but there's a good shot from Malignaggi.
I think Malignaggi's just been that little bit busier in this round, but the quality punches, maybe not enough of them, have come from Endo. I'm sure he'll be quite happy the way things are shaping up. Good jab again from Malignaggi.
He's probably just out working Endo, but it's not a lot in it. This is a closer fight, and Malignaggi not especially impressive so far. Sun setting over the hills. Lovely romantic shot, that, on a dry night in Manchester. Thank goodness for that. Test cricket here this week. Manchester United winning the Champions League. This, of course, is the stadium where they had the Commonwealth Games. It's a gorgeous arena and a big night. Biggest crowd I think anybody can remember for boxing in Britain. You have to go back to the days when Freddie Mills was around in the 1940s. The crowds like this. IBF light welterweight champion Paulie Malignaggi in the red and white here.
I'm impressed the way, the fact that he's not really a puncher, but he's prepared to stand and let 3, 4, 5 punches go and stay in range. Obviously he punches hard enough to keep the other fellow occupied, but he takes chances. He's good to watch, and I think maybe the crowd will warm to him.
But there again with the jab. What would be alarming for me, I think, if I was in the Malignaggi camp, is how easy he is to hit. That's trouble for him in his career. The minute he gets easy to hit.
That's a big problem. Against a man he's totally outboxed last time they met. I wonder if it's a case of underestimating an opponent you've already beaten. It's always difficult to go over old ground, and maybe there's something of that, a problem with Malignaggi here.
I think you'd see a different Malignaggi if he gets to fight Ricky Hatton. I think he'd be on his bike there. Far more mobile around the ring. That's great. Combination shots from Malignaggi. 1, 2, 3.
When you can't put them together, you have to say that. He can put them together. And he's prepared to put them together. You have to admire him for that. Again setting himself up for counters, but he doesn't have the speed.
He's got a cut, doesn't he, Endo, by the left eye. We'll have a close look at that. Gets him with the left hook, and that seemed to just rock Malignaggi for a moment. There's a moment of drama. Malignaggi can take a punch, but he had to there. Well,
that again was the fact, no head movement whatsoever. He was having a good spell. He was enjoying himself. He was getting the punches on target then. And did you see the speed of that left hook too? And though it's slow, but his punches are not.
Just dabbed away at the cut by the left eye, and that's a problem for him in this round. Malignaggi's just stepped it up a little in this round and started to produce some of those quick silver skills of his. Now he's on his bike a bit more. That's more what we've seen from him. Maybe he shouldn't try to be anything that he isn't.
again, not enough head movement. He's definitely not as difficult to catch as he thinks he is. Reflexes, not what you'd expect with the style he adopts.
Finishes around with a good shot, Malinaji. That was a bit better.